Hello friends, welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. We got Gobbet here, we got Gun Show over here. And I'm just enjoying this music so much. So cool. I love that music. Alright. Your adrenaline wanes as you fly through the subway tunnels on your way back to Hoi. There isn't much left to do but pick the shards of glass out of your clothes. Oh, right, we did this. We already read this. I'm not reading it again. Anyway, last time we did the dig job where we went and busted up a would-be museum, stole some artifacts. A good time was had by all. We also figured out the key code for a secret door based on the painting The Lady of Shalott. And we took a little token from a ghost man who wanted to be free of the Emperor's Tomb, as they call it. And we got some karma points. The next one is going to be one of these two, whichever one is the top one when we get to the subway. I still can't believe I named my guy Todrick. Skin Wrap's a much better name. Our 11 karma points. Let's go into intelligence, biotech. That gives us 4 left. Really should be stronger. Ooh, cyberware affinity. Oh. I mean, these are all for melee, which sounds super dope, but that's not what we're doing this time. So we should probably go into quickness, which requires 1 more karma, and then we can bump all of our gun stuff. Yeah, I think that's the move. Or we could spend the 4 into biotech, which is more of the role-playing. He is a street medic. It's only fair. It's not logical in terms of what we're trying to do right now, but it is the logical move. Who's this dude? Steven Dynamite? What's up, Steven? Let's go chat with Stevie Boy. A disheveled man in filthy rags teeters on the sidewalk, wobbling on unsteady legs. His bloodshot eyes dart around desperately, and the acrid, sweet odor that wafts off of him buzzes unpleasantly in your nostrils. You okay, man? You have to help me, man. His teeth grind as his grip tightens. His hand feels like a vice. I need your help. Strength 5. Well, I guess I should have put my points into strength. Say the magic word first. The man yanks you closer. Your eyes are watering from his pungent proximity. Still, you notice that his tattered clothing bears designer logos. Please, please, take handsomely a message from me. Handsomely? Right, yeah, I know the guy, and who should I say is asking for him? I'm Steven Dynamite. He nods eagerly, desperation in his eyes. A sluggish tongue wipes itself over the cracked skin of his lips. Look, you gotta help me, I've been poisoned. Stuff that Lee sold me put bad things in my head. Whenever I close my eyes, I see dark, narrow tunnels, so many hands grabbing, razor-sharp teeth gnawing, and the children. Poison? Sure it's not just a bad trip? The man gives a hollow laugh. I know my way around substances well enough to know a bad trip when I have one. This is something else. Alright, I'll do what I can do. Then tell Lee what he's done to me, that I need relief. Tell him that I want... You've been a little vague about that, Steve. Need something in particular? I want my money back. Poison, nightmares, money back, got it. Anything else? Just please come back and please hurry. Alright. I bet the guy's in the club. Let's take a look. I like this music. What do we got back here? Oh! We have a shop. Older troll woman has a striking Amazonian quality. When she was younger, she must have really turned heads. Can I help you? I'm usually beyond helping, but what can you offer? Guns or a swift kick out the door if you mess with me or mine. This is my family's place, me, my husband, and our 2 boys. Do you have business with me? I have no time for window shoppers. What have you got for sale? Firearms from all over the world. You in the market? Let's take a look. Oh yeah. This music's awesome. Smart Link. We don't have a Smart Link system. We should maybe get a Smart Link system. Outfits. Oh, what are we currently wearing? I don't think we have armor on. Let's buy this. Oh yeah, we're wearing street samurai armor. Get that garbage out of here. Alright. What can you tell me about this place? There's only one thing you need to know. The corporations do not rule here. You're under Kindly Cheng's umbrella, and her Yellow Lotus soldiers protect the docks and maintain the peace, but we're not Triad members, and they don't own us. It's a crossroads. Kindly makes the market, but we, the families, make it happen. Families rebuilt this place when it was left to rot. Strong families like mine, and we protect our own. Outsiders and corps know that tangling with Hoi is more trouble than we are worth. The Triads know it is better to work with us than against us, and now you know these things as well. You would do well to remember them. You looking to buy? Well, I want to actually sell you my spare armor. Do I want to... I should probably give Wild Aim to Gobbet, actually. Yeah. I like the music, though. Should we talk to X-Flow? What are you, a Decker? A wiry elven woman leans over the bar, propped up on one elbow, glances back at you over her shoulder as you approach. Selection here is garbage, but it's cheap. I hope you're not looking for quality or else you're going to be really disappointed. I was hoping for some classic cocktails. The woman snorts and dips her pinky into her drink to fish out a stray gnat. If you ask real nice, I think they've got some tonic water in the fridge. Aside from that, you're as likely to get drain cleaner as you are a splash of bitters. Even a simple Manhattan's probably beyond the means of this joint. Call me X-Flow, by the way. Maybe we can help each other. Nice to meet you, Skin Wrap. I've got good eyes for people in the business, and believe me, you smell like Shadowrunners in Nguyen. Everybody here has been talking about Kindly's new hired help. I'm out here for work. You need any backup? I'm available. What's your specialty? I'm what the eggheads call a mystic adept, kind of a physical adept magician. I throw spells and I can kill with a touch. I'm rarer than unicorns, my friend. Cheers. Got any good runner stories? Running a hand through her hair, she leans back as she thinks. Yeah, I got a couple. There was this one time I signed on with some mercs in Eastern Europe, and they had a job to do near Krasnodarsky Krai, lifting some Abkhazian military software. Plan was simple. We'd halo jump from a drone on the Russian side of the border, hike in towards the Abkhazian research facility, and blast our way in. The Abkhaz forces were supposed to be Matrix hotshots, but garbage in ground combat. Simple, right? No plan ever survives first contact with the enemy, though. Turns out the Abkhazian army had contracted out base security to Winter Systems. We started getting cut apart before we'd even breached the first cordon. Sounds like a suicide mission. Mercs were in pretty dire straits financially. It was a do-or-die situation for them, literally. They owed too many debts, and if they couldn't deliver, they'd have been killed, so we pushed in. We were down to 5 of us by the time we got into the main facility. One of the mercs, Václav, was a rigger. We were hunkered down in a vehicle bay while the Decker did his business, and Václav realized one of the APCs hadn't been properly locked down, and it was still gassed up. Came out of that base with the 30mm cannon blazing away. Our exit was down at the coast. A riverine patrol boat the mercs had on standby. It was some nervous fighting, but we managed to get out. A bit full of holes, but we survived, and that's what counts, hey? See you later, X-Flow. See you. You know how to find me if you need me. Well, that was an interesting little story. Do we want to talk to Callum? Have a drink, friend. Have two, and then maybe something else to chase it, eh? Not while I'm on the job. You should have my job, then. I'm the Prince of Club 88, chosen, you might say. You're part of the family that owns this place? You're a shrewd one, friend. I am the heir apparent, and my birthright to peddle chems to every sniffer that passes through our gates. No, not right now. Or ever. I don't want to buy a drink, but maybe we should talk to Henry while we're in here. Welcome to Club 88. I can respect that. I'm Skin Wrap. I'm Henry Cafe. I suppose I own this place. If you're looking for guns, speak to my wife. If you're looking for pharma, speak to my son Callum. And if you're looking for trouble, you'll be seeing my son Frederick briefly. What would I speak to you about? Nothing. I just steer the ship. What ship? There's always a ship. I'll leave you be. Alright. That was an informational exchange. And here's Frederick right here. What's up, Fred? You watch yourself in here or else we check your aerodynamics. Aerodynamics? No, anyone causes trouble, I see how far I can throw them. No fighting, no killing, no sex trade. I don't mess around. Alright. I didn't see the drug pusher, though. The one that Stephen Dynamite is looking for. Guy's name is Stephen Dynamite. Who is Spider Shen? Have we talked to Spider before? A monk, judging by their outfit, is unconcerned about the weather. The monk's robes are anything but ordinary. Silk makes up the base outfit, but it's paired with high-impact ballistic armor, heavy-duty boots, and a bandolier of throwing knives. I am Monk Shen. Most people in Hioi call me Spider Shen on account of the spiders back there. You're not local, not by a long shot. What tipped you off? Shen smirks crookedly. Body language, you're not afraid to look me in the eye for one. For another, your clothes, not in fashion here in Hong Kong. Swords, knives, clubs, I sell it all. I make most of these, but if I can't, I've got friends who can. If your joints ache, I can give you acupuncture. You're a monk and a weapons dealer? Yeah. What else? Why? Where else would the ancient masters have gotten their legendary swords and spears? Down at the mall? I was at Wudang Mountain for 15 years before coming back to Hong Kong. I've been practicing Xingyi Quan my entire life. That's how I learned the herbs as well as the forms. Just so happens I'm good in a forge too. Alright, let me take a look at your wares. That's what I wanted. Okay, so street monk outfit. Manifest, nerve strike, killing hands, spike knuckles, and throwing knives. Alright. And he does the key stuff and melee weapons. Alright. Thanks, dude. If I was playing a different build, I might be interested. Oh, I don't want to talk to the smuggler again. Let's just go back to the mission computer quick, get some monies, see if we can get some cyberware before our next job. Interested in maybe getting a SmartLink shotgun. Alright. Oh, we have 2 unread messages. No, I already read those, actually. Claim payment? Claim payment for the exotic animal dealer contacts? I thought I had already done that. Didn't I do that before? Post the museum shipping manifest. Go back. Open the jobs directory. Claim payment for the museum run. From Mr. Drake to Skin Wrap, well done. You went above and beyond what I asked and liberated some truly precious artifacts. I've attached the payment you're owed, plus a little bonus. I trust that you'll keep quiet about what exactly was liberated from Lou's little museum. I'll come collect the books from Kindly Cheng shortly. Alright, go back. All done. Ah, this music is so cool. Alright, we're gonna go up here to the cyberware shop, which I believe is right here. I'm I'm friends with Isabel and Gobbet. Yeah, those two drag some real prizes out of the river. You get Nightjar to vouch for you. I'll consider giving you the time of day. Nightjar's dead. There's a long silence on the intercom. Crying shame if that's true, and I saw that one coming. So you just washed up with Isabel and Gobbet, huh? You know what that tells me? You're here for today. You're here to today, and you'll be gone tomorrow. I'll keep my distance. Kindly will vouch for me. Yeah, you just idle your engine here for a minute, and I'll check on that. The door gives several heavy metallic clicks. There's a dull rumble like heavy bolts sliding back. A green light flashes on the terminal. The door appears to be unlocked. You can enter the clinic. Yoink. What's up? Who are you? 10-armed Ambrose. Clinic looks like it just hosted a party. Spindly mechanical arms swing from unobtrusive wall mounts, pulling down crepe paper ribbons and scooping food platters and empty beer bottles into biohazard bags. A severely crippled Caucasian man sits in a wheelchair amidst the maelstrom of mess and robotics. He's in his 40s, thick beard, tungsten earrings, beer belly, one cyber eye, both his legs are missing, one at the hip, the other at the knee. He has only one arm and only 3 fingers remain on his surviving hand. His face and arms show the scars of reconstructive surgery. He grins widely at you, regarding you with bloodshot eyes clearly hung over. Hey, I'm Ambrose, he shouts cheerfully in English, his words piling together in a loose Midwestern accent. They call me 10-Arms. Welcome to the Kong, fellow Eucassian. He chuckles, his chest shaking with mirth. A Waldo arm springs to life and swings over to him. Its menacing metal pincher momentarily sets a cigarette between his lips, just long enough for him to inhale from it. Kindly says you're all right. What can I do for you? Show me your services. Let's cut to the chase here. Cyberware. I need a data jack if I'm going to use a smart link weapon. We can get some bone lacing. Basic arm. Ooh. Dermal plating. Alright, what do we got at the high end here that we can't get yet? +1 throwing weapons? No thanks. Let's start with the data jack. Confirm. Alright. You know what? I don't really care about Ambrose's story at the moment. Should we examine the computer, though? The impressive home-built computer is running multiple large memory units and processors. Chilled air from its active cooling system washes over you. To the whir fans, a thin fiber optic cable runs across the floor to Ambrose in his chair. Let's examine the corkboard printouts. News clippings and BBS posts have been printed, carefully snipped and pinned in place. Grainy photographs of what looks like a devastated city, Chicago. The virulent version of the Vitas plague in the city and the subsequent quarantine of a zone containing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people. Well, I don't have any charisma, so I can't do anything with those. Look at the calendar. Dry erase calendar is cluttered with a relentless storm of commitments written in cramped, sloppy Hansi. A basic mechanics class on Wednesday nights, basic computer coding Sunday afternoons. Before both of these, inked in red marker, is prepare lesson plan, you stupid idiot. Holidays, big combat auto races, birthdays, every Sunday until 4 p.m. is simply labeled engine. Alright, let's get out of here. So the thing about this game is, like, you can play it however you want. In terms of your build. Like, every build is viable. But some builds will give you different pieces of lore. So, like, back there we could have gotten, if we had academic etiquette. Why is this person yellow? No, they're not yellow. It was just strange. Let's talk to Kindly quick. But yeah, so we would have gotten more world lore. But yeah, you can play, I mean, you can play through this game as a fully cybered up monofilament whip user who is just all out attack. you could play through as a mage with high charisma. Like, you could do all these different things, and I really like the unveiling the different pieces of the lore based on what you do. She's appears to be nearing the end of a harsh exchange with Strangler Bao, who is listening intently. So you tell that little pustule, that Auntie Cheng isn't happy. You get it? Not happy at all. Don't tell him that I'm displeased. Don't tell him that I didn't take it well. Tell him that I'm extremity chopping mad, and if he doesn't want what happened to Yi to happen to him, he'd better get his head and the rest of him wired together and get me that payment today. Was that message clear enough, Mr. Bao? Yes, Miss Cheng. I'll make sure he understands the situation he's in. Ah, our newly minted Shadowrunner. How are you taking to your new role, Skin Wrap? Like a duck to water, Auntie. I have no doubt, my sweet. I have a nose for talent. And how is Mr. Gunshow doing with his new life? Don't worry, I have my eye on him. Very good, my dear, very good. Was there something specific you came to see me about? Just checking in, Auntie. It pays to stay in touch. I agree, yes. Personal contact gets results. I have some good news for you. One of my people successfully planted a wiretap on the police's special duties unit. If news of your foster father or the plastic-faced man reaches them, it will reach me as well. So far, your foster father has proven a difficult man to find, and the plastic-faced man is elusive. He's clearly someone who knows how to stay out of the public eye. But I have my network running, working day and night. And I still have some favors that I can call in if need be. We'll find them both. It's only a matter of time. Until then, go about your business. She glances back about. Now I have some pressing business to attend to, the kind that ends in parentless children. I'll talk to you later. Yes, I will leave before I hear about that. Alright, let's get over to the next job. I want to do a job today. We've already spent a fair amount of time just wandering around doing random things. Oh, I had actually wanted to buy a SmartLink shotgun, but whatever. We'll do that next time. Alright, head to Whampoa Garden to discover who's killing the Whampoan elders. Let's go. Isabel, Duncan, Gobbett. The free team. I want to see X-Flow. Oh, 450 isn't bad. But let's go. Outsider. Whampoa Garden, a carnival of chrome and neon, rife with every manner of technology and artifice one can imagine. The entire area has the feel of a night market, save that chips are sold in lieu of steamed buns, and vendors hawk the latest drones rather than folk art. Something stalks these streets, hiding just out of sight. It stalks the Whampoan elders, the leaders of the band of tech-savvy squatters that have claimed this neighborhood as their own. The streets smell of ozone and fear, and those Whampoans you pass in the MTR station have a haunted, furtive look in their eye. While the killer has struck only at the elders thus far, it may only be a matter of time before ordinary residents are menaced as well. Right. Oh, I should have given that to Gobbett. Here you go, Gobbett. Have a spell. Oh. Wait. It's locked. Alright, have an item. How can I get her that spell? Or is it really just for me? Streets of Whampoa Garden are slick with rain, glittering under the neon glow of myriad signs and holographic displays. Sky reflects the same glow. Painting the white apartment blocks the sickly orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meat mingles with other rarer scents, ozone, engine oil, and high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of street vendors and touts urging people into their stores. Isabel wrinkles her nose, scowling darkly. She wraps her arms tightly around her chest, staring off into the distance. Is there a word for feeling nostalgic for a place you can't wait to leave again? I don't miss this place, but I miss the feelings I had when I lived here. Saudade, maybe? No, it's not it, but it's close. This place seemed like heaven after the walled city, like the whole world had unfurled in front of me, and anywhere I turned there was a promise of a good life. Turns out this place was just as lousy as everywhere else. Everyone was in it for themselves. Gobbet claps a hand on Isabel's shoulder, who flinches and pulls away. It's a great life lesson, I'm serious. At the end of the day, life's a raw deal. You've got yourself and a handful of friends, and that's it, nothing else. Duncan casts a sidelong glance at Isabel and Gobbet, shaking his head. You've got some strange ideas about life. Sure, life's a meat grinder, but come on, there's got to be more to life than just surviving. Does there? What makes you the authority on that? Isabel waves a dismissive hand. I'm done talking about this. Anyway, we're looking for the Whampoan elders. They're going to be in the Whampoa itself. That's the big ship down the street. That's the mall shaped like a boat, right? Isabel nods, lips pursed. That's the one. Somebody thought it would be clever to make a uniquely shaped mall. Alright. So... doesn't look like there's a ton here we can do, unless there's some back streets. Which there are a little bit. Bunch of people we can't interact with. Alright, not much I can do here. I guess I'm just going right to the Whampoa. Anything over here? I always like exploring an area before I do the obvious mission stuff. I guess we should talk to Elder... I don't know how to pronounce that. Elder Ing? I don't know. Let's call her Elder N. This orc woman is festooned with small circuits, tiny trid screens, and speakers. The trid screens display snippets of trid broadcasts from every corner of the world. The tiny speakers play counterpoint with a susurrus of voices speaking Speartheel, Punjabi, Kazakh, and other language. Her expression is haggard and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. Welcome, welcome to the Whampoa, my friend. I am Elder N, and these are Elders Tang and Ip. She gestures to the elf and human, who each incline their heads respectfully. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We have nowhere else to turn. As long as you could pay, I can help. Under Tang's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move on to dragons. We're under threat. One by one, we elders are being hunted by some monster. You may have noticed when you arrived, there's another killing just tonight. Ip crosses his solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surface, displaying diagnostic information about their state, operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minutiae. He looks past you toward Isabel. The prodigal daughter returned once more. I didn't expect to see you back aboard the Whampoa in my lifetime, Isabel. When you disappeared, Elder Yatunde was very put out. I'm glad you're still alive. When you chose to walk your own path, I was disappointed, but I still understood why you had to leave. Ip pauses, tasting the air as he chooses his next words with care. I hope my lessons have helped you prosper. Didn't expect to be back either. Work takes you places, though. Isabel shrugs. A moment later, she places a hand on her pistol, eyes trained on Ip's shoes. I don't cart this around for fun, Ip. The lessons kept me alive. Isabel blinks several times, then looks up at N, her expression clouded. Where is Yatunde anyway? I expected her to be here. She shakes her head sadly, reaches out a hand toward Isabel, who shrinks away from it. She's dead, so are Gon and Nakamura. And Tong was killed just tonight. So much blood, you have to stop this from continuing. Isabel's expression remains impassive, but her knuckles grow white as her hands ball up in a fist. That's what we're here for. We'll stop the killings. Thank you, Isabel. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. The first to go was Gon. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. He'd been torn apart, his head had been ripped completely off, and most of his skin flayed away. There was so much blood it took us a week to clean out his apartment. Tang nods. The rest have been the same, always at night, always dismembered. Each scene is like a nightmare, and every time nobody has seen anything, it's like a ghost. What happened to Tong? Same thing that happened to the rest of the victims, evisceration and dismemberment. We sent a guard to help people, to keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He'd locked up his shop, but Ip stopped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked and inside... Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like the other murders. It had to have happened after sundown because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Why didn't you call the police? Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They've tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to pin a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and triads, handle their matrix security, fix up their gear, and make sure they have access to the Hong Kong Shadowlands hub. We're too valuable a resource for them to lose, so they protect us when the HKPF or anyone else decides we're an easy target, handle our physical security, and we make sure to send the message via the matrix. The last time the HKPF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the TRID. They got the picture and backed off. Have you made any enemies lately? Not that I could think of. We keep to ourselves, buy and sell technology. We're not mercenaries or criminals. We're merchants and deckers. And even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery, it's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too. Just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. I'm a metahuman. Oh, he's saying... Okay, yeah, he's saying it can't... It's not necessarily a supernatural monster. Alright. That's all for now. It might be wise to ask the residents of Whampoa Garden if they've seen or heard anything after you've gone to Tong's Sensory Carnival. They may have heard or seen things we have not. Good to know. Alright. A little casino in here. Got skee ball? I think those are actually chairs, but I want to pretend they're skee ball. Alright, so we got the Sensory Carnival here. I guess that's where we're going. Elders don't want anyone to go inside. Porter Lamb at your service. Elders told me that you'd be coming. They tell you about how it happened at Tong? Just the basics. Well, nothing's basic about it. I've seen people shot, stabbed, beaten to death. I've even seen a corpse that was so dry and desiccated I could have sworn a vampire got to it. None of that's got anything on this. Brace yourself and go in. Okay. Tong's Sensory Carnival looks like a scene out of a B-grade slasher sim. The cloying scent of incense hangs thick and pungent in the air, emanating from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover up the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the ragged remnants of Elder Tong littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order, at least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you're about to step further into the room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tong's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread about the walls and ceiling as well. Great. Tong's body. Tong's face is a ruined mess. Destroyed ruin of his face is barely recognizable, and what is left of his body would best be described as savaged. All of his limbs have been torn off, and a pile of flayed skin lies next to the remnants of the Whampoan elder. The Whampoan's clothing has all but been reduced to rags and tissue by cuts and tears apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body into a semblance of human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Abbott puts a hand over her mouth, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Sweet heavens, Skinwrap, I haven't seen anything like that since Auntie Wong tried to stash some cred sticks in a devil rat's nest. It takes a lot to turn my stomach, but we sure have a winner today. This is seriously messed up. I'll second that. This isn't a murder. This is more like, I don't know, a feeding frenzy. If it weren't for the skin, I'd say Tong stepped on a mine or something. Biotech 3, examine the body. Aside from the tremendous trauma the body suffered, there's no evidence of a struggle, no subdermal bruising marks beneath the muscles. Well, I guess subdermal, but bruising marks the muscles, aside from torque points where the limbs were torn off. The coagulation of blood in the body's lividity marks a time of death between 2 and 4 hours ago. The knife marks seem more methodical than they did at first glance. There's been no care to try and preserve the skin as any kind of whole, but it was removed in a fashion similar to filleting a fish, the path of least resistance. What's more, some edges of the flayed skin are ragged as if cut by a claw rather than a sharpened blade. There's also a deep, razor-sharp cut to the base of Tong's neck that doesn't match any of the other wounds. His spine has been severed between the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. The wound is consistent with a single blow from a sharp-bladed weapon. Given the trauma across the rest of his body, This is almost certainly the first wound he suffered. Seriously, someone killed him and then just spread his parts all around? That's horrible and disgusting. I'm gonna hold out hope that he didn't feel any pain. Let's leave the body alone. I don't want Gobbet to read about that. The walls are covered in splattered and smeared blood, most of which has hardened into a crusty, congealed paste. Thick tracks of it run laterally. It looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey, Skin Wrap, I don't know a whole lot about science or all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits a wall. This isn't natural. Somebody deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it's got paint trails? That's because somebody used Tong's parts like a brush. So they painted the walls with blood? Why? I am thinking back to Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, friends, and that is a weird graphic novel, but that is what I'm thinking of. Do I look like a psychologist to you? Maybe because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of these sick serial killers that sees their murders as art. I got no clue. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Some people have a bad grasp of art. I knew this guy in Kwantung who used to make music out of stray radio static and panic button calls. Called it Crisis Wave. It was awful. Thanks, Isabel. I needed the laugh. Crisis Wave. Tong's desk drawers are open, and the safe that's built into one side has been opened. There's no sign of tampering, and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any money on them. Somebody looted his stash. What's over here? This is a Yamaha 95000V SimSynth, a device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty and all the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning, requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. Have Isabel debug the SimSynth. Rattles out some commands on the SimSynth's keyboard, stepping away after a few seconds with a look of satisfaction on her face. I've put the drive warning on suspend. It's in diagnostic mode only, though. Maybe we'll learn something, maybe not. Diagnostics okay, drive error. Beginning core dump, please wait. The long debug spew that scrolls along the synth's screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play lengths, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's SimSynth has been hacked to remove the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning, the required operation to make BTL chips. The delta wave outputs for those chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. The file catalog for the high-peak BTLs indicate all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives and whatever was in the empty chip jacks. Somebody has cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. BTL, if you recall, or if you've been watching the whole of the Shadowrun series, is better than life. Basically, whatever killed him didn't exit through the drains. Okay. They're better than life chips, so they are basically like really vivid electronic hallucinations. People get addicted to them and then they're like waste away. Oh, nope, I didn't want to go back in. I wanted to talk to the guy. Porterline. It looks like somebody went through Tong's things. Has anybody been inside? Not since I've been here, but before Ip found him. Could have been anybody, really. Ip had a key to his place, but the lock's total garbage. Anybody half decent at cracking maglocks could have gotten inside. What's missing? BTLs, hard drives, and cred sticks. Sounds like the killer looted his place to me. All this talk of monsters, yeah, sure, there are scary things that go bump in the night, but most of the scary bumps I hear are from handguns and gangers. See you later. Who are you? Zippy. What's up, Zippy? It's a nice suit, man. Oh, it's a trench coat. Orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes one of his hands and sticks it out toward you. Hey, stranger, nice to see you. Zippy toe tag at your service. Zippy toe tag. How are you liking Whampoa Garden? I'm Skin Wrap. Nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you, too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to just say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gaon and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So since I don't know you and I can smell a Shadowrunner a mile away, you've got to be the outsider they asked to stop the killings, right? Very astute, that's right. See, I have good eyes, a lot of good eyes actually, if you're in the market for replacements. Only slightly used, and they come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty belly laugh erupts from the orc, and he slaps one of his thighs in elation. Man, I kill myself. That was awful. Zippy shrugs, grinning wide. I know. I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but all my jokes are terrible. So if you're not a comedian, what are you? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other Whampoans healthy. Gotta practice down the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyber doc, but he's basically an implant specialist. How'd you end up here? Did my residency back in the UCAS. Could have become a real MD, too, if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. He pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than ice. Whampoa Garden seemed a good fit to me. Let me ask you about Whampoa Garden. Sure thing, what do you want to know? It looks like Tong was killed by a blade, not a broken neck or a bite. Zippy recoils, shuddering against the rain. What kind of blade? Was it a knife, a sword, maybe an axe? I don't know, but he was attacked at the back of the neck. I don't like that at all. Zippy shivers, looking warily around. This whole affair has got me on edge. People dying is nothing new, but the flayed skin? Ugh. After a moment, Zippy composes himself and looks back at you. It sounds possible that whoever's been killing the elders is trying to muddy the waters with all the blood and gore business. This is a crime of an intelligent, careful killer. Be careful, the investigation might take you somewhere very unpleasant. See you later, Zippy. He's well informed, but the more of this I read, the more often I yawn, and it doesn't make for good content if I'm yawning. Oh, who are you? Breaker Hugh? An imposing troll stands in front of a stall overflowing with weapons of all sorts. Ho there, you look like a man who understands the value of self-defense. Yeah, show me what you got. I want to see... Nope. Shock glove. AP damage on critical hit. That's pretty cool. But these are all submachine guns, pistols. Alright. Nothing. Looking for information. Yeah, tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you out. Aside from Tong, who slings the BTLs around here? The Red Spear Gang. They run up in here sometimes. Sorry. He was getting a notification. I just want to make sure everything was all right. They run up in here sometimes, but don't cause any trouble. Check out the parking garage south of here, though. They usually hole up in there. Step light, though. If they don't know you and you cop an attitude, they'll put you in the ground. Funny thing, I heard there was a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away in Beijing at the time, so I didn't see it directly, but everybody was talking about it when I got back. Why is that funny? Because we don't let the HKPF in here most times. We shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. Interesting. Mo. Let's talk to Mo. Man in front of the stall is rooting through a box of music chips with the swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of distorted atonal music. Can you believe this? They've got 4 bootlegs of Echelon 60, the unreleased Enoch Ian Keys double chip show from Brazzaville, but absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff is purely second-rate. Hey man, don't go down on Echelon 60. I saw them when they played that unlicensed show at the old Choco Tart factory out in Suan. The show was amazing even if the police had to break it up midway through the second set. That show might have been great, but come on, Echelon 60's old news. They're already being mainstreamed. I saw a Trid ad for the new Mitsubishi Ostro scooter and they were using main volt underbus as the backing music. Made me sad, I'll tell you. Decker inclines his head politely toward you. Mo, at your service. I'm a Janebi? I don't know. Decker, technologist, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't hold yourself like a native. Not Whampoa Garden, no. I thought so. What brings you out here? Trying to find out who's killing the elders. Decker pauses a moment. Oh, that's a nasty business. I heard Tong died tonight. I don't know who or what they bothered, but it seems like a really bad scene. I'm trying to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Anything I could do to help? What can you tell me about the Whampoans? Collection of freaks, geeks, nerds, and tech junkies. The place may look like a third world bazaar, but believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Maybe it's not as advanced as the stuff the Megas have in their development labs, but it's as advanced as anything you could find in a store. Buy and sell stuff, free enterprise zone, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. Red Dragon made a play 4 years ago, but we chased him out. Scooted back off to Homantin, and they never been back. Good for you, that's how you survived. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it bugged them, but then we sold goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount. In exchange, the Yellow Lotus keeps them off their back. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win, you just have to make him step back so the other big guy sees he's off balance. Stand-up fights are for the Megas. We're about survival, just like everybody else in the shadows. Know anything about the murders? Trying to stay away from it. All I know is a couple of months ago we had elders Nakamura, Yotunda Gon, and Magpie, and now we don't. Magpie? I've never heard of Magpie. Magpie may not be related. She disappeared a month or so ago, just up and closed her shop one night, and nobody ever heard from her again. Zippy thinks she's on vacation, but I don't know. These killings started right after she disappeared, so maybe she's in hiding or is taking care of the elders one by one. What kind of a person was Magpie? To be blunt, a hateful, shrewish old badger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She'd butt heads with the other elders over everything. The last fight she had with Tang was over something or other. I guess she ended up throwing some of his micro-drones into a deep fryer and threatening to kick him around the block. What was her line of business? Matrix gear. Her shop's called the Jack Point. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips, and made some killer decks for anybody willing to pay her rates. Cost plenty of new yen, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. You could probably... I know where Zippy is. Let's go talk to Zippy about Magpie. Get the key to Magpie's shop. Zippy, help me out, man. Buy you a steamed bun. Can you tell me about Elder Magpie? Sure, what do you want to know? Where do you think she went? No idea. One day she was here, the next poof. At first I thought she was on vacation, since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday, but it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems mighty suspicious to me, and nobody else seems to care what happened to her, probably because she made them all so angry. A little odd for her to just disappear, don't you think? Of course it's odd. She owed me lunch too, and she was the sort who paid her debts promptly. You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. Even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have a reason not to let you in. What would they argue about? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision for what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. Last big argument. Something trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix, and she just absolutely refused. She sounds like she didn't care for entertainment taking precedence over business. That's exactly it. She gave Nakamura an earful, let me tell you. She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment garbage. Anyway, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean blocking them? Everybody needs her matrix skills for their businesses to run properly. There are other deckers, me, Say, or Mo, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. She's a real hardhead about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot, if you ask me. Could you let me into her shop? No can do, not because I don't want to, but because I don't have the key. You have to get it from Ip. He's taken over the Matrix infrastructure since Magpie disappeared. See you later, Zippy. Well, let's go see Ip. Feels like they should have mentioned her to me. Why did you let the HKPF into Whampoa Garden last month? Tang is taken aback by the question. For a long moment he says nothing. When his composure does return, he speaks deliberately and with great care. We generally don't let the police into Whampoa Garden, it's true, but in this case we made an exception. The police were very polite and offered to look the other way over some of our deals with the Loho Jawa pirates. They also made it clear that if we refused, they might not only take an interest in our deals with the pirates, they would call in Special Duties Unit and force their way in. We have repelled the HKPF before when they tried to push us around. We probably could drive off the Special Duties Unit as well, but the cost in blood would be too high. Since they weren't hunting a Whampoan, we saw no reason to refuse their request. Who were they here for? They didn't say and we didn't ask. The HKPF isn't exactly forthcoming about their business, and we found that the less we know about their interests, the safer Whampoa is. When you take an interest in the police, they return the favor. As far as I know, they went into the parking garage before there was a gunfight and the police never came out. More showed up a few hours later looking for their missing officers. We didn't let those in, we just delivered what was left of the bodies. Why didn't you let them in? We were willing to allow the group of 4 in because they asked politely. When the reinforcements arrived, there were over 30 of them. We couldn't risk the rest of the police setting up camp in our streets. It would have been a circus and disrupted our lives and business. Why didn't you tell me about Holder Magpie disappearing? Why would we have? Her departure from the Whampoans isn't related to your investigation. It happened before the killings began. I'm certain she's just off sulking somewhere. No doubt she'll come waltzing back next month, all full of attitude that life dared to go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back. Despite our problems with her behavior, her skills make her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance of our Matrix infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down until she returns. She could be responsible for the killings. Not mentioning her seems like a major oversight. Magpie? I doubt that very highly. Whatever character flaws she might have had, she was a pacifist when it came to physical violence. Well, I still need to look around her shop. Do you have a key? Yes, but there's a lot of sensitive equipment in there, including our community servers. We don't let anyone in who's not one of the Whampoa elders. Why would you need to look around there? I don't have enough charisma. Oh, that's lame. I guess I don't really need to get in there. I'll be going now. I really wanted to go into the Magpie's shop. Who are you? Rainbow. Woman sports brilliantly hued hair that shifts colors, scintillating with every passing moment. When she speaks, you note a peculiar lyrical accent to her voice. Something I can help you with there, friend. You're throwing me off my game and I'm trying to beat my best score. Tank Warrior Ropa? I haven't seen one of those cabinets in years. The woman's mouth twists up in a wry grin. Me neither. Managed to find this one near by accident, but I heard the music and thought, hold on there, Rainbow, you know that tune. After a few moments, Rainbow's game is suddenly over, her tank obliterated by a barrage of air-to-ground missiles. She hisses her breath in through clenched teeth. Right robbery that was. Right then, you don't seem like Whampoans. They're all a mite touched, yeah? Maybe you are too, but you don't advertise it like they do. It's your story. Looking into the murders. That's some nasty work. Bodies hacked up, chunks bitten out of them. Make sure you're loaded for something big and ugly, that's for certain. Where are you from? I can't place the accent. Born and raised in Dublin, down on the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of me early life there, working security on sacred spaces, historical sites, undeveloped land. Green movement was big in those days. It was a bit like being a park ranger, but sure didn't it beat some dead-end desk job too. Spent a lot of time around County Dublin and Wicklow. I've always loved animals, and I found out being a ranger put me in close with them. It was a good time, yeah, making sure budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset the ecology of Wicklow National Park much. Also kept the nastier bits like the ichus from running amok across populated areas. What's that? An eat whiskey? Nay, each asug. Asug's just the word for water, which is how whiskey got its name. It's a cannibal horse, basically. If you've never heard of it, be glad. It drags you into bogs to kill you. Sometimes people call them kelpies on account of the water plants they pop out of. Alright, I've heard of kelpies. Anyway, I was saying, the problem was I started to develop this wee knack, just this small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the paracritters get real feisty, yeah? To make things worse, this was around the time Liam O'Connor threw his coup and formed Tir Na Nog. With all his fancy talk about elves and ancient magic, 'twas a bit scandalous to have a woman guarding ancient sites that wasn't just mundane, but also killed magic around her, so I got fired. You're older than Tir Na Nog? Bang on, and I don't look a day over 25, do I? I am Irish, not one of those noggins, pack of punters, the lot of them. Always going on about their ancestral lands and the glory of the past and all that. The skivers in the new tier didn't pay for the land they took. They just had a pack of bullies with guns. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They offered to pay for my help, so I said yes, simple as that, so you became a terrorist. Fed, don't be so dramatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of the kit I've got in me now in exchange for going overseas to work for them. Smuggling, running guns, making contacts in Europe. Same kind of stuff all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how me own fam got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. I still do work for them these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady D cracked down on dissidents, but good. What are you doing here? Bit of a big game hunter these days. I get into strange places, look for a kind of paracritter I've not seen before, and then I put a bullet in it. No point hurting a talus cat. It's only things like gargoyles, barghists, and whatnot. I was out in Jakarta last year hunting one of them Indonesia vampires. You ever heard of them? Call them penanggalans. Their heads and guts come out of their body cavity and they fly around like a giant messy pile of pasta. Okay. Once the job was done, I asked myself, okay, Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the key whatsits here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you'd usually find in a city. She pats the barrel of her shotgun. Alright, goodbye, Rainbow. That was... flying pile of pasta is not what I expected. Hello, spaghetti monster. Who are you, Demergo? What's up, dude? Man has a tired, world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, the lines of his eyes perhaps, make you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts his cup of cheap soy calf as you approach. Let me guess, you're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. That's right, who are you? Call me Demergo. I'm not one of the Whampoans, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. So what have you found so far? You're awfully curious for a random guy. Professionally curious, used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their thaumaturgical research division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. Demergo tosses the cup toward the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and rolls inside. When I hear about stuff like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know? Seems like you're more cut out for this job than I am. Elder N asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price, it eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day, to be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck, pleading in the voice of a dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days I'd rather interrogate the living, thanks. All things considered, that could be useful. Demergo nods. Sure, if you're appraising antiques or trying to find out where a lost cat went, but turning that on murder scenes is an invitation to horrors beyond imagining. I can read objects. It's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up, don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told Elder N I didn't want any part of this. You want advice, I'll give you that, but I'm not getting drawn in further than that. Aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? Tong was killed by a bladed weapon, a single strike to the base of his neck. That's a precision attack. Most knife fights end up with a lot of shallow cuts and blood all over the victim and attacker alike. If Tong was killed by a single strike, he definitely wouldn't have seen it coming, and you can bet your last new yen that whoever killed him is highly skilled with a blade. That says to me that the attack is either a professional hitman or a practiced serial killer. Could be both, too. Assassins don't tend to be the most empathic people. Was the attack a thrust or a cut? It was a slash. Why? If the wound was a thrust, your attacker was using a knife of some kind. Anything over about 10 inches would be pretty hard to thrust with at that kind of angle, the neck's too high for a longer blade. If it's a slash, you're looking at a sword or a cleaver attack. Both of those are popular with the triads. They make an awful mess and send a message that they're not to be trifled with. What do you know about the murders? Started a couple of weeks ago. Didn't want it to be a clean death. Funny thing is, HKPF was out here a few weeks before that. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear too, big guns and heavy armor. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight, never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Whampoans chased them away. Yeah. Go look for yourself. If you want, watch out though, a gang's taking up residence in there, dealing drugs and BTLs. Call themselves the Red Spear, not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. Alright. Let's talk to this guy, and this looks like the parking garage here. This has been kind of a long episode. It was kind of cool to investigate, really get into the noir of this. A dumpy-looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats. Kaita's 1 yen yatai. Cacophony of small trid screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different trid show. Interested in some dango takoyaki? Maybe a nice nikuman. That's a pork bun with a Japanese twist. Curry fish balls. 1 new yen. Let me have some dango. Your wish is my command. Snack has a both sweet and salty flavor, reminiscent of sesame seeds and soy. Alright. I just ate fish balls, apparently. So what brings you to Whampoa Garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. Looking into the killings. I've been hearing a lot about that. Haven't looked too closely, though. It's none of my business. What's with all the trid screens? You like them? I love trid operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian. It doesn't matter. This way I can watch all my favorite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. Pirated trid is my other business. I rip the streams of the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds, and resell them on a chip out there. I wish it could pay the bills, but my food cart's a lot better than that. At that. I don't know why, but most of the other Whampoans seem to like sim over trid. They don't know what they're missing, though. One episode of 1,000 Cranes of Autumn, and they'd be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where O-Ren has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to get his mech suit out to the front lines on Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. Sounds like an interesting show. Oh, you have no idea. 312 episodes chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with a space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty, the Battle of Lagrange 1 spans 5 episodes by itself. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with the wider public. I don't know why. Who doesn't want to see a trid show about giant flying robots, love, betrayal, and spies? Is there something else you needed? Got any thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. I saw the crowd at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight. What can you tell me about the people here? We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, trid pirates. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, so not exactly on social terms. And some kind of crazy tech witch summons up spirits and casts spells and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She has this mother-to-everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of stuff they wouldn't normally do. Magically, you mean? No, she's just really good with people. Ip's a killer, addicted to cybernetic implants. Always has the newest and freshest gear. I've never seen him fight. I kind of get the impression he's a coward. He'd rather let his buddies handle a problem. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. See you later, Kaita. Alright, I guess we're going in here. Sorry, all this reading, I'm getting a dry throat. I gotta have a sip of water here. Alright, well, here's the red spear. They seem nice, with the baseball bats and guns and whatnot. Oh, what do we got over here? Looks like we can't sneak by, so let's just, come here. Far enough, guy. The woman hefts her weapon, tossing a nod toward the gangers behind her. This lot's our turf. If you're looking for a fix, you're welcome to trade. If you're not here for business, clear out. What do you say? You looking for a little pick-me-up, a little nitro? Maybe you want some chips, take the edge off? You want it? I got it. Show me what you have here. Drugs and drugs. Cool. What happened in the fight here? As far as I know, some police showed up looking to get somebody. They got in here. All of them got killed. Whoever they were after was long gone. Have you heard anything about the murders? Nothing much. I'll tell you what, though. I've got a guy named Kang, and he was down in the storm drain system last week. Something was moving down there. Big too, man-sized. But it wasn't speaking any language Kang understood. Kid beat feet back here as fast as he could. He dropped his storm drain key on the way out, though. You want to go looking for whatever it was, you'll have to get a new key from somebody else. Kang stole his from a city worker. Who else might have a key? A guy named Porter Lamb. Yuan also mentioned some elf woman with crazy colored hair who managed to scam a key. He said she'd hunted paracritters down there. Can I look around this garage? Are you deaf? You can't. Alright. See you later. I could just kill all these guys, but let's go see Rainbow again. Apparently she has a key. I'm trying to do this as non-violently as possible. Like, this is like our big investigative noir mission. I mean, a lot of noir stories do end in some kind of violence, but I'm really into... Oh, no, I want to go this way. I want to talk to Rainbow. I'm really into the idea of the noir stuff. Do you have a key to the storm drains? Of course I do. How else would I get to look down... get down to look for strange, creepy crawlies? Why do you ask? Can I borrow it? Aye, sure. Watch your step down there, though. The drains are a mite bigger than people would normally expect. Best of luck. Oh, that was easy. Thanks, Rainbow. She's a really cool character. That's not just because she's Irish. Alright, so where... Oh, storm drain. Well, let's pop down here and see what we find. Music changed. Okay. Oh, there's something over here. Body parts. Disgusting pile of stinking human remains. Smells strongly of blood in the first stages of decay. Arms, legs, and organs are heaped together like stacked firewood. Judging by the clean edges on the cuts, the blade used to sever these parts was extremely sharp. This is a whole world of messed up, skin wrap. You think the killer stashed these here? They're stacked. They've been organized. This is our killer. Looking closer to the pile, one part stands out. It's a severed forearm, and it's covered in tattoos, words in a Slavic language, and a shining lighthouse. Adorn the forearm, and ring-like images are inked on each finger. On the back of the hand, there's a skull inside a square. Whoever owned this arm isn't likely to be Whampoan, as the tattoos look like they were poorly drawn and inked by hand, most likely Russian criminal tattoos. That's interesting. What do we got here? Let's go this way before we... Well, you know what? Let's just look here. I don't want to run around. There's a thing to look at. Despite the darkness, you see something glitter at the edge of a drain. It appears to be a necklace. Take the necklace. Silver necklace. Lifting the necklace out of the drain, you turn it over in your hand. It's a simple silver pendant on a chain. Silver pendant depicts a long-tailed bird in flight, a magpie. Well, that's interesting. I guess there's nowhere else to go but over here. Seems to be the case. Let's go over here. There's a ladder. And a bunch of guys. As you round the corner, you hear voices speaking just loudly enough for you to make out coherent sentences. Speakers are definitely not local. Slight Slavic accent. And around them are a number of crates and boxes, all mostly filled. Looks like they're packing up. Vasilisa? Yaroslav says the boat will be ready tomorrow morning. He's gotten everything arranged with the port authority. We move the goods to his warehouse. He'll handle loading them onto the ship. We can get paid right then and there. I'll be glad to get done with this filthy place. Galena says, I will too. I hate having to hide in these drains. It stinks down here. I can hear the devil rats running down the walkways. It's a mess and it's disgraceful. We shouldn't have to put up with this. Alexander still isn't back from his little trip. We'll have to leave him behind if he doesn't get back soon. I don't think Alexander's going to make it. I know. Until Andre says we're in the clear from the triads. We can't be seen with the goods on the street. They'll find us. We go back to Vladivostok in sausage casings. Those Red Dragon Mudaki don't screw around when it comes to protecting their turf. Who knows, maybe Alexander was stupid and they caught him. Either way, we'll have to lug this stuff through the drains. Orc woman sniffs the air suspiciously and her eyes dart towards the dark tunnel you stand in. Before you have a chance to get out of sight, she locks eyes with you. Orc lifts her chin as she regards you. What have we here? A curious little pest come looking for things that don't concern him. What do we do with pests, Galena? She puts her hand on the shotgun barrel. We break them, Vasilisa. And then we hammer a spike through each of their throats so anyone who sees their bodies knows not to meddle in our affairs. I suggest you stay where you are, pest. I'm not here to meddle anything. I'm just looking for a serial killer. Well, you found some, friend. Us. You think you could just walk out of here after finding us? Think again. Because I know what happened to Alexander. She hisses her words through her teeth. If you so much as touched him, your suffering will become the stuff of legend, I promise. Where is he? The serial killer I'm looking for killed him. Why should we believe you? I think you're just trying to save your own skin. Right forearm, lighthouse tattoo, Russian words underneath that. On the back of the hand, a skull inside a square. Sound familiar? They exchange significant glances. Okay, so you've seen his arm. That doesn't prove anything. You could have seen it on him. You want to walk down the way and pull his arm out of the corpse pile I found? Go right ahead. I wasn't about to cart a severed arm just in case I needed it. You're right. That is the act of someone very sick. We could talk peacefully, but keep your hands where I can see them. Is there anything you could tell me about the murderers that I might not know? You think we get out of lot? I wouldn't have even known there were murders if I hadn't bothered to come out for some soykov last week. None of our business. Where was your friend headed when he disappeared? He found a keycard for a stockroom located behind Mrs. Yang's Jade Mountain restaurant. He went to check it out. We thought there might be something valuable in there. A little extra money for our time spent down in the drains, nay? Do you have another key to the stockroom? Yes, there were several of them in a box. We just popped the lock and took them all. Here, we don't have time for this. We have to move this gear. You want to play detective? Go right ahead. So we could go to Whampoa Garden here. I don't know where this is going to take us out, though. Oh, perfect. Zippy. What are your thoughts on... I found this necklace. Was this Magpie's? Yeah, that's hers all right. Where'd you find it? In the storm drains. It was covered in blood. Well, poop. I guess she didn't disappear after all, at least not in the way I thought. If that's where you found it, she's got to be dead, so why would the killer not make a mess like he did with the others? That's what I aim to find out. This business keeps getting weirder and weirder. If someone killed my friend, you find him, you make him hurt for me. Let me ask you something else. See you later, Zippy. I feel like I should have gotten karma for that. Where's Magpie's shop? Where's Magpie's shop? Is this it? Magpie's shop. Okay. Okay. Nice place. Food. Despite the table's crude construction, an artfully laid meal awaits the owner. Several small dishes are packed with pickled vegetables, while a larger plate is arranged with long slices of raw meat. Pale pinkish white like raw pork and is covered in a light soy marinade. Poking at the raw meat, you discover that it's surprisingly tender. What's more, it has the faint aroma of marinade as if deliberately prepared. Leave it alone. Mementos. Box is packed with odds and ends, nearly overflows with a collection of knickknacks, souvenirs, and assorted personal effects. There's no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. Among the contents are charms from various temples. I examine the mask. Extremely light, it's been painted a pale white, and the surface is almost as smooth as porcelain. Delicate features and lifted eyebrows are matched with bright red lips and delicately carved teeth, stained a deep black. Examine the charms. Square cloth packets, each approximately an inch wide and 3 inches tall, bright colors, embroidered with characters for prosperity, peace, wealth, and protection. Inside each appears to be a folded paper prayer or fortune written in Japanese. Examine the paper fan. Unfolding the fan, you tilt it up toward the light to examine it. The image depicts an East Asian city from the 19th century or earlier, curved roofs at sunset beneath a deep blue river. Or beside a deep blue river. Beneath would be Call of Cthulhu. 2 ships sail down the river, which is in turn spanned by a long wooden bridge. In the foreground, laborers carry buckets along the shore as a man on horseback rides in the opposite direction. Leave the box alone. As you step away from the box, you hear a slight click in the distance, the sound of the doors latch shutting. You are no longer alone in the stockroom. There's a dude with a sword and samurai armor. Standing before you is a man clad in heavy armor and bearing a katana on his hip. His skin is an ashen gray, his eyes dead white. His teeth are jagged and appear quite sharp. This is no man, this is a ghoul. Gaichu. The ghoul's blind eyes search back and forth as it regards you. It cannot see you, but you have a sense that it knows exactly where you are at all times. Ah, a hired gun, no doubt brought to bear against me by the Whampoan elders, a means by which they can lift the curse plaguing them. I salute your tenacity, but I wonder, will you hear me out before raising your weapon to kill me? You're a ghoul and you're talking? Yes, I am not only talking, I am reasoning as well, and since you have not attempted to kill me, your own higher faculties are engaged. I am a curiosity to you. You wish to know not only what I am, but what I have done. As for who, you may call me Gaichu. I know who you are. You're the one killing the Whampoan elders. You are correct. I have killed all of the Whampoan elders to date. The only Elder Magpie was according to my initial plan. I regret the deaths of the other elders, but it was necessary. What does Gaichu mean? Harmful insect. It's the name I have taken for myself since the word is usually applied to pests, especially ones who drink blood, such as leeches and mosquitoes. The first character means injury or evil influence, and the second means insect or worm. The affair began simply enough. As you may surmise, I am not someone who could be seen in public without great risk. Whampoa Garden is an excellent place to hide, no police or triad presence. Minimal interest in things that lurk in the shadows. Unfortunately for me, Elder N discovered me through communion with her spirits. Rather than kill or chase me away, she came to me with a proposition. N and the other elders were having problems with one of their number. An elder named Magpie had been holding many of their plans hostage and would not budge. They could not remove Magpie, however, because her services were too useful for the Whampoans at large. N offered me payment to dispose of Magpie, and I accepted. Wu shoots you a sidelong glance, tusks bared as he grits his teeth. Why are we talking to this thing, Skinwrap? It's a ghoul and you know what they're like. Really? What, pray tell, am I like? All teeth and claws and bad manners, I expect. Gaichu's tone is amused despite the harshness of his rasping voice. Really? You want to crack jokes, cannibal? You're the kind of monster that would devour a family just because it's convenient. Remember the 162s skin wrap? He's just like them. The 162s were a gang woo in the Barrens. Like, that makes a bit of difference. Go on then, talk to the monster, but I'm keeping my finger on the trigger. I believe that we were speaking of the Elder's plans to have me kill Magpie. Surely you must be a little curious about that. I've heard of Magpie, but her shop's still locked up. We're standing in it, dude. Naturally, they would keep her servers under lock and key to avoid any awkward questions about her whereabouts. I was thorough in disposing of her, as our contract stipulated. She was to simply disappear without a trace, a task easy enough to accomplish. I disposed of Magpie's body by emptying the blood in her bathroom, then I cut her up into more portable pieces, placed in plastic tarp, which I took to the steward drains and hid. He nonchalantly waves a hand, his tone flat and unconcerned. It's unfortunate, but my survival depends upon consumption of raw metahuman flesh. Letting such nourishment go to waste would be a foolish error. But why kill the other elders? I contacted the elders, not in person of course, and they arranged to exchange payment. I assumed that since the job was done, N would be a woman of her word. I was mistaken. I arrived at the nearby parking garage the elders had told me about. They'd cleared out the other Whampoans under some pretense, though I'm not sure what ruse they used. Elders never showed. Instead, several members of the HKPF arrived. They were more heavily armed than usual, so I suspect they knew something of my nature. I heard about the fight. You expect me to believe you took on a police squad and won? Of course, I have survived as a ghoul for some years now on the streets of Hong Kong. If that isn't evidence enough of my tenacity, I doubt any words I could say to you will change your mind. A betrayal of that sort cannot stand. Not only was I not paid for my time and effort, the Whampoan elders treated me like a common animal, and I am so much more than that. Reputation is everything, and I had none. I had hoped to build a network of contacts so I would be able to continue finding work. But with that treachery, my hopes were dashed. I decided to become the monster that they feared. One by one, I have eliminated them. They know how to contact me, and could have ended their nightmare at any time by making amends. I would have asked for more money, but I would have ceased my haunt, yet they did not. Instead, they contacted you, no doubt asking you to eliminate me where the police had failed. So I ask you, what now? What will you do? Will you attempt to finish what the Whampoans started, or will you treat me with the same humanity I have shown you? Let me ask you some questions. Did you eat the elders? Some of them, not all. My condition requires that I consume raw metahuman flesh. Vastly more supply than demand. Why would the elders have you killed instead of paying you? Any number of reasons. They are notorious cheapskates, and they always try to save money when dealing with outsiders. It could be their natural inclination toward profit. They may regard me as subhuman, and therefore unworthy of respect. It could be that they felt I was too dangerous to allow to live. It could even be that they simply did not like me. The net result is the same. They reneged on a deal we brokered and attempted to have me killed. A message must be sent, blood must be paid. As they have hired you to kill me, they have obviously not learned their lesson. If I let you live, what will you do? Kill the rest of the elders and anyone else they send to exterminate me. It's a matter of survival. Should I ever have the opportunity to work freelance again, potential employers need to understand the price of betrayal. These murders are my curriculum vitae in revenge. I've made my decision. Come work with me. I can be your face. A curious offer, and what of the elders? Will you allow me the satisfaction of killing them? I want to see what they have to say first. I would counsel you not to believe their words, but you have the sound of one who is wary as a matter of course very well. Let us wait until a bit later in the night. Most pedestrians will be off the streets, and it will be easier for us to approach the Whampoa without being noticed. Sounds like a good plan. I might be adding a ghoul to my team. Anybody out on the street? I like the cop dude. He was a really interesting character. Elder N. Oh, actually, let's see if Rainbow's here. She's not. She's going to bed. Elder N. As you approach, her eyes widen, her mouth falls open and the veins on her neck bulge. What are you doing? You've brought this thing into our home. Quick, kill it before it kills us. Porter Lamb lifts his pistol warily, but does not aim it at anyone. I have to say this isn't a good idea. Why is there a ghoul in here, and why is it wearing armor? Gaichu, calm yourselves. I'm not an it, and your elders know this intimately. Good evening, Elder. I can smell your fear, and I'm glad of this. It means you are learning the price of betrayal. Whoa, what's going on here? Can someone explain to me why this ghoul is talking? Gaichu had a contract with the elders, and they betrayed him. The elders have been lying to the rest of the Whampoans. We would never lie to the Whampoans. Our role is to protect this community, not lie to it. What proof do you have to back up your claims? I'm interested to hear what kind of evidence you have to support this theory, Skinwrap. As far as I can tell, this monster killed Tong and the others, and that makes him a threat that should be eliminated. They died because they betrayed Gaichu rather than pay him for the killing of Elder Magpie. You believe this vermin, this creature that feasts on metahuman flesh that kills and dismembers our tribesmen? You are a naive and foolish man if that's the case. What proof do you have that Magpie is dead? And please, in matters where an elder is accused of breaking our law, the other elders generally judge them. In matters where all of them have been accused, I am authorized to act as judge. Make your case, Shadowrunner. I found her necklace in the storm drains. This is definitely Elder Magpie's. If you found it in the storm drain, that's suspicious, but hardly proof of on its own. Of course it's not proof. The number of things lost in storm drains in Hong Kong must number in the tens of thousands per year. She hasn't been seen in a month, not by anyone. She wouldn't just disappear like that. That may be unlikely, but it's hardly impossible. You haven't established that the elders were involved. All you've done is make suppositions about it. What proof do you have that we hired and betrayed this creature? I won't sit by and listen to idle accusations without any kind of concrete evidence to back it up. I hope I have some. What about the fight with the Hong Kong police force? How do you mean? What does that have to do with the elders and the ghoul? You Whampoans don't allow police inside the area. Why make an exception this time? The police were polite and asked our permission to enter. They were hunting a non-Whampoan. That was a reason enough for us to allow them in. That doesn't add up, En. Why would the police ask us for entry now? They've never been polite before, and they've always tried to force their way in here. It doesn't ring true to me. Did you ask them to come in order to hunt down a ghoul? Preposterous. Porter, you know what our community is like. We wouldn't lie over something like this. This ghoul has been lying the entire time, trying to cover his tracks. He still brutally murdered several elders. That's true. These murders were vicious and cruel. I don't see any way to explain that away. The ghoul is a monster for how he killed Tong and the others. Tong's body was a mess, but he died quickly from a sword blow to the neck. I struck Tong down with a single blow from my sword. The mess made of the body was to send the elders a message, but I had no desire to make Tong suffer. At any time, En and the other elders could have made amends, and the killings would have ended. Instead, they hired a Shadowrunner to kill me. It's not about cruelty, it's about sending a message. That's not what I would have expected looking at the body. You killed him before you dismembered him? That's right, and I killed the other elders in a similar fashion. There was no cause to prolong their suffering. The message was for the living elders, not the dead. If the elders wished to treat me like a monster, I would terrorize them like one. Treat me like a monster. I would terrorize them like one until they paid reparations for their mistakes. You can't possibly believe this crazy story. It's absolutely insane. The scene of Tong's murder, like the others, was a deliberate sham made to look more horrific than it was. I believe you. The blood smeared on the walls, the removal of his skin, that's a scene designed to evoke horror, not the scene of an actual fight. Elders, what do you have to say in response? This is a farce. We have dedicated ourselves to protecting the Whampoan tribe and everyone who lives in Whampoa Garden. Do you really believe outsiders and monsters over our word? We who have only tried to end the killings. You've been duped, Porter, you and this Shadowrunner. I concur. Porter, you know me. You know the kind of person I am. I wouldn't be party to the killing of another elder. I can't believe we're even entertaining the notion that we have to defend ourselves. We should be disposing of this ghoul instead. If you think I'll forget this, you're sorely mistaken. I will not tolerate this kind of insult. The elders were all too happy to have the Red Spears move into the garage, almost like they wanted to keep anyone curious about the fight away. That's right, Ip, you even told me not to go find out what happened with the fight. You said that the Red Spear gangers were moving in and to leave them alone. Why would you not tell me to look into it? I was only trying to protect you from the Red Spears. They're dangerous, which is why I wanted to deal with them directly. That's all I've got. I think I have some ideas of what's going on here. I feel like I missed some evidence. What do you believe the real story is? The waters are muddy on this matter. The ghoul seems to be telling some of the truth, and I respect that, but the fact remains he's a dangerous creature who's killed many of our number. Our law is clear on this. He must die. You seem to be blameless in this skin wrap. What do you say to this decision? I'm not going to let you kill Gaichu. Then you two must die. Ip? Oh. Okay. I guess there must have been more evidence around. I don't actually want to kill Porter. I kind of liked Porter. So let's do knee shots. And then we'll do an aimed shot at him. Nice. This is really not how I wanted this to go, though. Let's just keep tagging her. Two AP damage. Okay, they're both stunned. Let's do an aim shot for a guaranteed hit. Gobbit. Should we haste somebody? She actually has a pretty good chance of hitting. Wow, that was pretty pathetic, actually. Alright, and Gaichu. Let's see what you can do. How did you miss somebody who's stunned? What kind of crazed serial killer are you? I must have missed some evidence. Probably could have handled that better. But, time to switch guns. Okay. So far, so good. Ooh. What is this, stance? Oh. Do AP damage. That's kind of cool, the different stances. I'm sorry, Porter, I didn't actually want to do this. Okay, that was a lot of damage, though. Isabel. Grenade launcher. She's a menace with that thing. I like how he turned toward her like, what are you doing? As the elders fall to the floor, you stop and survey the carnage around you. It is accomplished. No more betrayers alive. No more worry that others may think they can take advantage of me. Lead the way. I look forward to our new business partnership. Well, this is kind of a unfortunate turn of events. Didn't it just say something about the parking garage, though? Can we go back in there? No. I really wonder what I missed. Alright, well, I guess we're done here. I don't think we're gonna get paid for this job. You generally don't want to kill the client. Alright, let's get out of here. The MTR rockets noiselessly towards Hyoi. Along the edge of Kowloon Bay, the black water glitters in the night with the light of 1,000 reflected storefront. Gaichu stares sightlessly out the window, one hand pressed to the glass. The Whampoan elders are dead. They forced your hand and paid the price for it. Their story was a cleverly crafted lie meant to put the ghoul to death for their greed, but was the trade you made worth it? The uncertainty of that choice is as clouded as the sky above you. Friends, we're going to end this episode here. It was a pretty long one. My throat is getting really sore from all of the reading. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can let me know by leaving a little thumbs up or a comment or even a subscription to our little channel here. Join my team. Help me conquer the world. As always, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next exciting episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong.